Everybody, day 944 days since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And um, things are starting to happen every day. Every day. When has it not happened every day? When haven't we gotten information? Day to day, we're getting new information. And so I'm just checking, refusing to treatment for PTSD and those things. Yeah. Yep. Um, but we're really praying for by the end of the week something big to happen, and uh, we need help from, of course, the JAG office there at Fort Bliss. Are they not interested in finding Richard? We are. We have so much. We have all that we need to give to a law enforcement agency to connect the dots together. We've already connected so many dots together about Richard. And the legal file for Richard would really help, because what triggered that? What triggered us wanting even his legal counsel's memos, all of it? We want to know who the legal counsel is. We should have inquired in this and got this way back. And the IG should have offered that. We have been in contact with them. Um, they should be helping us. The United States Army should be helping us to try to find Richard. And there's no excuse that they don't know where he is and cannot find him. There's no excuse, because we have everything. And so they just need to take what they have and be transparent, go to the media, indict some people. And I'm serious about that. I'm serious about that. And have Richard Six care about a missing soldier. Soldiers cannot be, and service members cannot be allowed to be murdered. Service members' remains cannot be allowed to be hidden. They cannot be allowed to be buried and left buried, burnt and left burnt, um, poured acid on and let them lay there, or be disintegrated, or, be chopped up. And it can't happen. And it's happening in, they're being poisoned, our service members. Poisoned physically and poisoned spiritually. And we see that. And let's just say very powerful leaders around the world are not respecting us and not respecting our military. I mean, let's go ahead and look at what President Putin is saying in Russia, because he just gave his State of the Nation address. And let's see what he said. So let me see if I can find that. Right here. These are some highlights. Turn that on. Let's see what he has. Guess that's Twitter. Let's see.
И здесь опять лгут постоянно, извращают исторические факты, не прекращают нападки на нашу культуру, на русскую православную церковь, другие традиционные.
Let me turn off the sound, because I think it will be better if I just read it. He says, and here they lie constantly, perverts historical facts, do not stop attacks on our culture. The Russian Orthodox Church and other traditional religious organizations in our country. See what they do with their own peoples. The destruction of the family, culture, and national identity. Perversion, mockery of children, and pedophilia are declared the norm of their life. And priests are forced to bless same-sex marriages. God with them. Let them do what they want. What do I want with them? Adults have the right to live as they want. We have always thought like this in Russia, and we always will. No one will invade private life. We are not going to do this. But I want to tell them, look at the Holy Scriptures, the main books of all other world religions. Everything is said there. But including that the family is a union of a man and a woman. But these sacred texts are now in doubt. As it became known, the Anglican Church, for example, plans to consider the idea of a gender-neutral God. Wow. What can we say? Forgive us, Lord. They do not know what they do. Millions of people in the West understand that they are leading to a real spiritual disaster. That's the point of this. The elites directly, I must say, go crazy, and it seems that they can no longer, but these are their problems, as I said, and we must protect our children. And we will do this, protect our children from degradation and degeneration. And I think that's the point. That's the point. And that's the point that is in Richard's case. And, I don't know how other people feel, but in our family, the 10 Commandments, every word that proceedeth from the mouth of God is law word, right? Is law word. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, right? And we're Trinitarian. And so we believe that if we submit ourselves, and that's been such a unpopular word, an unpopular action. You see, because we have been told over and over and over again that we have free will, we have free will, we have free will. But that's not what we learned in our family. That's not what we get from scriptures. And so if you want to know what I taught Richard, what Rob taught Richard, it was that we do not have a primary free will. We can't determine when we are born, who we are born to, what kind of talents we are born with, natural talents, and what color hair I have, what color eyes I have, how tall I'll be. We can't determine that. If I'm going to be a male or a female, we don't have that kind of power. And we have a secondary, if you want to call it a free will, to be responsible, to glorify God in everything that we do and serve Him well. But that our decisions, even our thinking, can be tainted, right? It's tainted. It's tainted by the fall, and by the lack of knowing things, right? That's why we always say communication is so good, because then we find out things and we can understand things better. That's why we want to be educated, so that we learn things and that we can be understand things better and make better decisions. But we're not all knowing. And therefore, since we cannot be at all places at all times and know what everyone is thinking and what everyone is doing, and that we are bound by time, that we cannot go back in time or forward in time. We can't always see the consequences of our decisions, that our decisions are tainted. And, so we can't rely on ourselves to make the right decision. And so that's why every word that proceeds from the mouth of God is law word. And then that we go, we might not understand, but we have to obey and submit ourselves to what God says. We might not like it. We might not like the fact that we have to turn the other cheek, that we need to maintain our integrity, that we need to maintain our morals, that we need to maintain our duties, that we need to respect authority or elders, and deal with the, it's just like right now with getting Richard's records. What is the problem that the JAG there at Fort Bliss has about giving us Richard's legal file? There should be no problem at all, unless they are hiding something, unless they're covering up something. Do they not want us to know about the porn videos? Because the porn videos, you see, this was brought to my attention lately, is that everybody has porn videos, because the porn is everywhere, and it's broadcast through these servers that they make and through the cloud, and it is dropped through the crowd onto people's phones. And I was made aware of that because even in a school, I think it's near Jacksonville, last year, they were saying that porn got dropped onto lots of phones in a middle school. So middle schoolers were the cloud, the servers, somehow it got hacked or whatever. They were sharing these porn videos unbeknownst to the owners of the phone, maybe a lot of them, these porn videos. And these are middle schoolers. And it happened in school. And this is, can you imagine if that's going to happen in middle school, what happens in high school, or what happens in the dorms or in the military? And if we have higher ranks participating, which we know that they do, absolutely know that they do, and they're trying to normalize every kind of degenerate action of consenting adults. So that's where that free will comes in. They're saying, I have free will. I'm a consenting adult. I want to do this. And they don't take into consideration the laws of God. And I think that's what Putin was saying. And because our thinking is tainted, we don't understand that succumbing and submitting ourselves to our own lust, submitting ourselves to any kind of degenerate action, including pedophilia, leads to even worse things. And it's hard to imagine what is worse than pedophilia. And if you're succumbing to even watching child sex porn, then you are supporting child sex trafficking and child pedophilia. So sometimes, a lot of times, we don't understand the consequences of our actions. We think, oh, this is just a video. It's not hurting anything. I'm just getting my thrills. And we don't understand the pain and the crimes that are committed as a result of the support of the financing of these, I don't know, just wanting to get your thrills. So, and disobeying God, right? And disobeying God. And everyone knows, because anytime we disobey God, our whole body shakes us mentally to say it. Because see, even the stones cry. Even the stars in their course fought against Sisera. The creation moans and groans. And this is where we're at. We have something going on in the JAG office, something going on in the command, something going on in the FBI, because it is a very, very high possibility that the FBI are hiding the remains of our son. We have names, and we've turned in names, and we have addresses, and we have GPS coordinates, and we have license plate numbers and VIN numbers, and we have leaked files, and we have names of the people that leaked the files. We have Tavita Nusa, CID special agent. We have problems in the CID, y'all. And we know that he lost his badge. We know that he was under investigation. And we know that he leaked Richard's file to a Leilani Hart. And Leilani Hart, you see, I've been saying this for a year. And the media doesn't care that a CID special agent would be leaking files, hurting so many other people, so many other cases of our service members. You have to remember, this is our service members. And if you are leaking and hurting our service members, and if you're leaking to an active duty, I mean, was Leilani Hart active duty at that time? Because she was active duty. She was under Major General Clem Coward, along with her son, Dallas Hart, First Lieutenant Dallas Hart. He was also under Major General Clem Coward. And so was Richard under Major General Clem Coward. So I think Major General Clem Coward, along with Command Sergeant Major Jakovitz, who said that they brought in girls during the COVID lockdown for the parties because the morale was so low. I don't think the morale was low because lusts weren't fulfilled. Okay? Because there wasn't enough girls to rape, or enough boys to rape, or enough children to rape. I think the morale is low because there's no esprit de corps. Because there's no, and I mean this in, a brotherhood, a sisterhood in the military, a Medal of Honor ethos. Because there's only lip talk and not real true duty, not real true respect. And I know this, or integrity, because of what happened to Austin Hawke. And you have to remember that in August last year, something very major happened. And I can't tell you all the details, but I can tell you this. Some junior enlisted was assigned the task, and it might have been senior enlisted. I don't know. It might have been CID. I need to find out. Let's just say service members. Service members were assigned the task to empty Austin Hawke's locker at work and send his belongings. This is before the plea deal. This is before so they already knew that they were going to plea deal at this time. They were just letting time go by. Okay? It just dawned on me. They already knew, because this is before the plea deal came out. And Austin's family was waiting for the trial. And the family received the box of Austin Hawke's things from his locker. And it was not organized. It was not inventoried. It was not put in bags. It was not folded. It was nothing. It was just like someone took a shovel, took their hand, and grabbed into the locker and just put the box next to the locker and just threw everything in it. And then they taped it shut and they sent it to California from North Carolina. They didn't realize that there was very sensitive items in there. They didn't realize. And they sent it through regular mail. And they sent it to California. And why am I talking about this? Because it tells me that whoever the service member was that had that duty did not respect the leaders, did not respect their unit, did not respect the United States Army, did not respect their country, did not respect the case of Austin Hawke, did not respect Austin Hawke, had very bad training, did not have any oversight. And we are a bloated military. And we can't get a service member, in the case of Austin Hawke, a brutally slaughtered soldier in his barracks room, to get people rallied around that case to properly handle the deceased items and respectfully, in a very organized, proper legal manner, send it to the family. So you see, our 44 four-star generals that are demons, they have a big problem. They have a big problem. Because if they can't get good help, respect, duty, honor, integrity, selfless service, personal courage, in the case and surrounding the case of Austin Hawke, and I don't even know how terrible, I know it was handled terribly, Vanessa Guillen's case. And I'm sure Enrique Roman Martinez's case, and I know Caleb Smithers' case was handled terribly, and I know that Lavina Johnson's case was handled terribly. And so many others, Gregory Morales' case, so bad, so badly handled. You see, it's systemic. And of course, the handling of Richard Halliday's case, our son, has been so bad, so bad. So evil. Sorry. Absolutely. So evil. And if they can't get good help for that, then the everyday stuff is even worse. Even worse. So our 44 four-star generals and admirals have a real problem on their hands. They're going to be brought down no matter what. That's why they never have victory. They might have power, but they don't have dominion. They never have victory. Because the consequences of their actions, they don't see it. They don't see it. They don't understand it. And even if their actions are totally treasonous, let's say they want to bring down the United States military, and they want to march some other foreign new government in or whatever. Let's say let's just suppose because we know that our 44 four-star generals and admirals are working for foreign and domestic enemies. Right? We know that they're treasonous. We know that they've committed crimes against humanity. We know that it has been deliberate. There's no other word that can explain the utter failure of every program that we have in the DoD. The DoD is utter failure. And the only way we can explain that is that it's deliberate. It's a deliberate sabotage and destruction of our military. All right? So we know that. And let's say, they're like all excited, because they're wanting to march someone in. This is just it's just a story, right? They want to bring in some other government. They want to bring in their foreign enemy or their domestic enemy and change everything. Get rid of the Constitution, be totally totalitarian. They want to get rid of Christianity because they have been totally attacking every Christian value, every law that proceeds from the mouth of God. They don't respect property. They don't respect inheritance. They don't respect the family. They don't respect children. They do not think that rape is a crime. They don't. It is such a serious crime to God. Okay. They don't even believe that adultery is a crime. A serious crime. They don't believe so many things that God has laid out, not to be mean to people, because of the consequences, the destruction. It's not about glorifying God. We are to glorify God, but He doesn't need glorifying. He is glory, you see. But we are to recognize that and to glorify Him. He doesn't need us. We need Him. Thank you. Yeah. So all His laws, His precepts, every word, and it's very simple. It's a medium-sized book. Very easy compared to the buildings and buildings and buildings of regulations and laws and whatever from man, especially that UCMJ, and the JAG's duty is to give the general whatever he wants and to twist. This is my opinion, to twist every UCMJ regulation around to be able to say yes to whatever the general wants to do. Okay? Because you don't tell a general no, right? You don't tell a general no, you can't do that. No, General, we can't have pedophilia in the military. Oh, we can't have that. No, General, we can't have child sex pornography in the military. No, General, we can't. We can't have that. We can't have child sex trafficking. We can't have human trafficking. No, General, we can't have, illegal drug sales in the barracks. No, we can't have the doggy porn cult where they like to rear puppies. You can't do that. You can't have that in the military. You can't have a rape cult in the military. You can't have serious alcoholics in the military and, selling all this PTSD drugs to our soldiers and call it free when you know that it's coming out of the DOD funds. You can't commit crimes against humanity, General. You can't do it. See, a JAG can't say those things. A JAG has to give the general what he wants. And the twisting and the turning of the law is what he is. There's probably some good ones out there. They're probably put out or not promoted, but yeah, that's what the JAGs do. They twist and turn. And so what's happening right now in our case, because they tried to twist and turn to smear Richard. Absolutely. They did not have Richard 6 at all. All they had to do was say on the news from day one, we are trying to find our soldier. We're trying to find our soldier. This is what he looks like. We do not believe that he would go AWOL. He's a distinguished honor graduate for basic training in AIT. But they didn't do that, you see. They didn't even contact family. And now they do not even want to give us his legal papers and every memo that came from his legal counsel. Richard was a minor. That paperwork will help us tremendously connect the last bits, the last dots, the last bit of dots, and expose what we already know. We think it will help us do that. And that's why we need that, because our son is missing. And he's a U.S. Army active duty soldier. The very first CONUS, Continental USA, Dust 1, duty status whereabouts unknown soldier in U.S. Army history under the new Vanessa Guillen absent soldier flow chart. We believe there's a huge possibility that the FBI is hiding the remains of our son. If they're not hiding the remains of our son, that they know where the remains of our son is. We huge possibility that they know everything. They knew everything before we even knew Richard was missing, because they knew about the porn videos that Richard handed in. They knew about the Child Protective Service complaints that Richard went over and above and beyond his chain of command, because he told me, Mom, they're so bad. They're so bad. I'm just going to get out. I'm just going to do my time. I'm just going to, so really, just stay in my room. Just stay in my room. That's where he was at the end. It was so sad, because you have this young, we have so many of our young sons and daughters, and they're so excited, and they, like Asia Graham, you should have seen that video, so excited to join the military, so excited to learn something, learn a trade, learn how to serve our country, and get educated at the same time and get that discipline and everything. And then you join and you realize that the bloated 44 four-star generals are serving foreign and domestic enemies that want you to be unorganized, that want you to have no esprit de corps, that want you to be criminal, that want you to be groomed into criminal activity, groomed into PTSD, groomed into a suicidal mental health basket case, groomed into child sex porn supporter and porn contributor, maybe porn producer, and sell porn and then broadcast it everywhere. They want to groom you into human trafficking. They want to groom you into extortion. It is just one big criminal syndicate. And with every program being a failed program and every action that they have taken, Afghanistan, every war, you think that if we're leaving Afghanistan with our tail between our legs and leaving our night vision goggle technology behind, do you think that billions of dollars are going to do any good? That is such... Where is that money going? Come on. We have 5 failed audits of trillions of dollars in the Pentagon. They are used to getting their fill, and not being held accountable. Not being held accountable at all. And so what are they hiding in Richard's files? Legal files. Those are the ones that so far I don't know, they might have been leaked or given to people that, I don't know. It is definitely not crazy. Definitely a possibility for everything to be leaked. So why can't we get his legal files? Without question. Excuse me. Hey, Daniel, I request my son's legal files with the legal counsel of my son's memos and also their files, any kind of communication between my son and his legal counsel and whatever is in those and I'd like the name of the legal counsel. Hey, Daniel, we need this because our son is missing and we'd like to find out what happened. We would like to expose what happened. And this is right and good and just. This is what having the back of a service member is. This is saving our service members. This is sending a loud message to every service member out there that there are people that care. The Halliday family cares. The team Find Richard Halliday, we care about the service members. We care about the family of service members. We care about justice. We care about righteousness. We care about duty and integrity and honor and personal courage and respect. We care about having a defense. But our defense, our Department of Defense, has been hijacked, is under the control of 44 four-star treasonous criminals that wear those beautiful uniforms with 4 stars and give orders to the rest of our service members. And the military is not a democracy. It's not a democracy. And those 44 demons and criminals have at their fingertips our most valuable assets, our volunteer sons and daughters, our bombs, our stealth bombers, our fleets, our Air Force, our tanks, our missiles, our Patriot missiles, all at their fingertips. And we give them everything. We give them everything. It is no bottom to their funds. They get big staffs. They get drivers. They get people that press their uniforms and shine their medals. They get everything. Shines their buttons, their shoes. They get everything. They get cooks. They get to go to dinners. They get travel. They get everything. We have entrusted to them our nation, our Constitution, the land and the people, and they have betrayed us. We have given them our respect. We have given them our love. We have given them our service. Do you know how many hours of service that I myself has given the military free of charge to support them? And monies to pay for care packages, to send care packages, Christmas cards, anything that would lift the spirits of our service members. I even clowned for the parties, for the welcome home parties during Desert Storm and Desert Shield. I think there are some retired service members out there that probably remember Toodles the Clown. Toodles the Clown, that was my name, Toodles the Clown. All the support, and they have kicked us in the teeth, and they showed that clearly because they plea dealed with Austin Hawks murderers. They plea dealed, and that was such an easy case that needed to go. I mean, it's a brutal case, heart-wrenching case. But they had everything. They had his glasses. They had his blood. They had his footprints. They had all the text messages. They had everything to convict these two murderers in the court of law in front of every service member, to send a very loud message to every service member. We have your back. We will not allow this. We will not tolerate this. But they didn't do it. They kicked every service member in the teeth, every service member in the gut, and they plea dealed. We have hard evidence of their crimes, of their treason, and they need to be investigated. That needs to be exposed. They need to be audited. That needs to be exposed. Who is going to do it? That is the question. Because you see, this is where this is so dangerous for the likes of myself. Because we don't have, this is what I need to tell President Putin. President Putin, the American people don't want the pedophilia. We don't want the homosexual marriage. We really don't. Because what does that have to do with the church anyway? Go get married in the state. Go register. But what does that have to do in the church anyway? Why do they want to come into the church and do it? Why do they want to mock God? When they can go and just do it in the city hall. And respect people of faith. We don't want child sex trafficking. We don't want our children to be taught that they might not be a boy when they're a boy, and that they might not be a girl when they're a girl, and confuse them and to groom them. We don't want our children to be reared puppies. Mr. Putin, this is from foreign and domestic enemies that have infiltrated our country, that have got a hold of our country and our schools, our academics, our universities, our media, and have hypnotized so many parents that they're bad parents if their children don't go to these indoctrinating academic institutions. We have been hypnotized by a social government, because there are spheres of government: our church government, our civil government, our social government, our work government, our school government, our family government. And we've been kept ignorant that there is a separation between church and state, and that's what it's talking about. That the civil government has overreached its little sphere and has its tentacles in all the other governments that are supposed to, check and balance. And for the most part, the most of us here, we want to care for our land. We want to care for our children. But we all, like sheep, have been led astray. We all, like sheep, have been led astray. And on this Ash Wednesday, from ashes we've come, and to ashes we will be again. We will go. We are creatures. So it's called epistemological self-consciousness. And Richard loved that. He used to love that. To know yourself, to know your limitations, to know that you can't always have your way. You can't have your way. You can have your way. Because your way is tainted. Because you're not omnipresent. You're not all knowledgeable. You're not all powerful. You're a creature. And so epistemological self-consciousness is to know that in order to have freedom, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, you need to submit yourself to God. That's it. And try every day in all you do to glorify God. Sometimes we miss, but you're trying. You're always trying. And Richard was trying to expose many for child sex trafficking. That's what we believe. And we have names. We have license plates. We have VIN numbers. We have addresses. We have connections and text messages and everything. And you know what we need now? We need Richard's legal records. That's what we need. And we don't need to be railroaded again, because at the end of the day, we found out who the man was that walked into the Dollar General, and we found out that he's the father-in-law of Lieutenant Colonel Bugado in the G3, and that is why that kind of information is why we believe that the FBI is hiding the remains of our son that they found in Juarez, Mexico. And it is the letter from Captain David Park to me that cements those kind of evidence, because that letter was asymmetric warfare tactic in my opinion. And it is our liaison that used asymmetric warfare tactics in the social media realm that we caught him in that cemented. And it is the McKilligan Canyon hike that cement that belief. And it is the shaking of so many soldiers, the crying of Micah Yoshida, the first sergeants, and their reaction, and the smearing of Richard at the military police guard mount by a senior leader to military police that were supposed to be looking for him. It is the actions of Danae. It is really shocking that cement that something very serious happened, and they tried their hardest in so many different ways to cover up the information that we have found. And the politics are now starting to come back into our favor, because people have seen some of the consequences of the treason, some of the consequences of the crimes against humanity. They've even been victims. And so things that I've been saying for years are starting to have a place of credibility. And as that credibility grows, then people will share more. And as they share more, the leadership will be driven to act. We have so much power, y'all, that we don't even know, because we have dominion. Our power comes from the dominion of just staying firm in our faith and doing what is right. Doing what is right. And God is always faithful. He comes through. It is just amazing. It's not instant. It's always in God's timing. And so please pray that things that are happening behind the scenes right now, because of the rereading of Captain Park's letter, and also the pendulum swing from, blindness, I guess, I don't know, insanity. It was so insane, I can't even tell you, to people saying, wait a minute, where did this come from? Where did that come from? And then they go, oh my gosh, it came from the DOD. You mean our Department of Defense, who we have commissioned them to defend our country, to defend the Constitution, to defend the land and the people, to honor their obligation to care for our volunteer sons and daughters that want to serve in the military, and they have betrayed us. We are now left defenseless. We have every program working against the Constitution, every program in the DOD that is working against the land and the people, against our service members. And our service members are getting killed. They are getting injured. They are getting heartbroken. They are getting mentally abused. They are undergoing severe, continuous retaliation. They are getting hypnotized. They are getting used and abused and groomed into these cults. These cults of Matrix and Silico, and these cults of sexual doggy rearing, grooming, porn, creating, selling, producing, whatever. I mean, it's just so evil. That supports child sex trafficking and child sex pornography and human trafficking and all the worst things, and who knows what else is involved. And I haven't even touched on the drugs and the alcohol and the guns and our equipment, because our equipment gets sold all the time. And it's not legal. It's not legal. So, yeah, I'll answer any questions now. We need the legal file, and we need to also put the death penalty back on the table. We need a good discussion of the death penalty, because the evil has metastasized. Why has it metastasized? Why has all this grooming been allowed to happen? Right? Okay. Turn this all the way down. Good evening. Thank you so much, Danielle. Rita, thank you. Every time I see you at another day, my heart aches. I pray that the Lord, in his infinite mercy, will bring your son back to you. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Molly, thank you. What does it matter? Find your son. Exactly. God says, love your neighbor. As God has loved you, right? So that means love is the fulfillment of the law. Love is a choice, and love is you're not going to steal from your neighbor. You're not going to rape your neighbor. You're not going to glorify in their wrongs. You're not going to sleep with your neighbor's husband or wife. You're not going to sexually molest their children. You're not going to sell their children in the sex trade. You're not going to take porn videos and give them to the children, or even include the children in the porn videos. You're not going to sell them illegal drugs. You're not going to provide them with illegal weapons or weapons in mass. You're not going to bring in minors, or you're not going to have frat parties every day. It's that's not love. That's not love. It's not love for the family. It's not love for children. It's not love for the community. It's not love for the land. It's not love for our animals. It is not love for our environment. It's not. It's not. And that is what the 44 four-star generals don't know. They created hellholes and are still creating hellholes in our barracks. And then they want to cover it up. And they want to cover it up with asymmetric warfare tactics with our dime, military operations with our dime. They want to cover it up with the CID. They want to cover it up with the FBI. They want to cover it up with the Department of Justice. You have to remember, the Department of Justice denied us. They want to cover it up by leaving all of our representatives defenseless, so that when we go to William Timmons, he's so scared, he doesn't want to come near this with a 10-foot pole, because it has to do with the border, because it has to do with child sex trafficking, because it has to do with the military, because it has to do with just one bad thing after the other. And so he just flicks us off. And you know that this is true because Senator Cruz, who dared to come to help out us, come to our aid with that amazing letter that was a very good step at finding Richard, was flicked off by the Secretary of the Army. Flipped off by the Secretary of the Army. And the Secretary of the Army is 23 ranks lower than the senator, than a sitting senator. That's like a private, the wife of a private, flipping off. Well, it would have to be private because employed. A private flipping off the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Milley, right? Telling him to go take a flying leap. I'm not going to answer any of your questions. But the thing is, Milley has the entire military backing him up. He has power backing him up, but Senator Cruz has been left defenseless. He can't go to the military and say, you know what, this Secretary of the Army is not honoring my questions or my suspense date. We need to go and arrest her. Where is our law enforcement to go and arrest this doomsday warmouth? This doomsday warmouth. She needs to be arrested. Who is she anyway? Who is she? Really? And who does she work for? It needs to be investigated. She needs to be audited because she treated a sitting senator 23 ranks higher than she is like dirt. Like dirt. Which impeded the search for our son. Which is, what is that? That's a crime. Obstruction. Is that a crime? Obstruction? Sabotage of the search of a missing soldier? Yeah. So, we are at 944 days. I was a much softer person 2 years ago. Even was very, very much a softer person 3 years ago. And as we've been severely and continuously retaliated against, and I'm going to tell you, this is exactly how I feel. Those vile, vulgar messages that were sent to me for months, day after day after day, terrible. And we found out how to trace a burner phone. And we did it. And we got those addresses. We got them. And they knew we got them. And they stopped. They stopped. And you know what? You think that they were just some random people in this case? Or that they were military? Or that they were maybe given orders by General McConville? Maybe from the asymmetric warfare TRADOC, because it was TRADOC, Sergeant Major, that participated in this too, and not in a good way. Why? Why have we met so much opposition, so much anger, so many manipulations, so much danger? Look, that lead, that hike, that was total a setup job of McKilligan Canyon. Rob feared for his life 3 times. Go look at that video. Go look at that video. We have been so severely retaliated against, and then not even as bad as what our service members experience the entire time they're in the military. I'm telling you, go look at the video of me going up to the house of the soldier that was in his backyard screaming at the top of his lungs at us when we were doing our car parade. And I got out of the car and I went to him and I wanted to hear what he had to say. And he was he looked like he was like a mental case. And listen to that video. He is afraid. He is angry and he's afraid. I call First Lieutenant Brown up, Micah Brown. And it's not, oh, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I know, Richard. We're going to try to find him. How can I help you? What can I do? No, it's, yes, I know who you are. Like a demon talking to me over the phone. You know, like a demon. Mad, angry. I didn't even say it right because he had anger in his voice. He had resentment in his voice. Why? Because I'm a mom and I want to find my son? Why are they so afraid? Look at First Sergeant. Let's say this. First Sergeant Ruggiero. He didn't put anything on paper. I don't think too much. I have some screenshots from him. No, he used his wife. He used his wife to do it. She's the one that got the leaks and let us know. Unless he posed as his wife. She had leaks, y'all, from the CID. We confronted the CID with her before we even knew that she was his wife. And we said, who is this person? She has information from the CID that only someone that knows the CID could have given her. And they just hid her from us. We had to find out through time and trial who she was. And then First Sergeant J. Paulin, what he did was so criminal, y'all. What he did was so criminal. I can go through these years. When you read the book, you are going to be, no way, this could never happen. Yes, because it has to do with the border. Because it has to do with child sex trafficking, because it has to do with child porn, because it has to do with a whistleblower not being okay with it. Not being okay with it. And leaders being okay with it. That's why. And they're covering up for some leader. It is not a junior enlisted they're covering for. They would hang them out to dry so fast it's not even funny. They are so cold-blooded. It is so sad. You just cry and cry because they're so cold-blooded. And now they want to put up, they want to railroad us. They want, just because we want Richard's files. If they had nothing to hide, they would gladly give it to us. They should have given it to us a long time ago. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. Sorry it's so late tonight. I gave a presentation This is bonus. I gave a presentation on Gleason's book. Gleason's book, I'll even hold it up. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. And it's on time, how we measure time. And it's 5 astronomical lines of measurement, including the lunar cycle, the solar cycle, the transits of the stars and the planets, eclipses, and of course, all records and documents and of history. All records, writings, documents, recordings in history. And you can use these 5 lines of astronomical measurement to create something so amazing. It's called the 651 Great Astronomical Year. Every 651 years, the 70 eclipses that are in 18 teams, 18-year cycle, will repeat itself perfectly on self-same days. It's amazing, and it makes our land, our people, right here, Earth, so important, so amazing. And I just think you have to be on the ground to experience this great clock in the sky. You have to be on the ground to experience the beautiful transit of the stars, right? The phases of the moon, the 15-year solar cycle, right? 19-year lunar cycle. So this is a bonus because there are really good things happening. The stars in their course fought against Sisera. There are things that we don't know that are happening that are absolutely marvelous, absolutely wonderful. And the news media is, always is, it's their job to report all the bad news. And in this case, it's so negative, everything that I'm saying. And here, my husband, 30-year veteran, lieutenant colonel, he didn't start off as an officer. He started off as an E3. He said, my husband started off as an E3. Yep. And made it to E6 and then went to PA school, became a warrant officer, made CW3. I pinned on CW3 on him. And during the Gulf Wars, Congress, anyone with a degree that was a PA was commissioned. And so he went from warrant officer 3 to a captain with time and grade. He didn't like that too much, but that's the way it was. And he ended up retiring after 30 years as a lieutenant colonel. So he has seen those ranks. He understands the military, and that has helped us tremendously in the case of trying to find our son. And of course, that's one reason why Richard wanted to join, because we've always been Army. My dad, Army. Well, my father-in-law, 23 years in the Air Force. So yeah, we've always been military. And I was trying to break that. I didn't want any of our children to join, but anyway, Richard did, and he was distinguished honor graduate for basic training. Got $500. I was so proud of him. I sent him $500 to match it, and then he was distinguished honor graduate for advanced individual training. Sweet guy, nice guy. We have all those screenshots. Oh my gosh, Halliday's missing. He's so sweet. We even talked to authorities there in El Paso that he had dealings with, and They were like, he did anything that we asked him, everything he was asked to do. He was so sweet. He was so nice. It made us cry. Um, it made us cry. And he was trying to help a young mother that had been groomed. I think she's been groomed, totally groomed to be working in the sex industry. And a young mother trying to help her see her potentialities, that everyone has potentialities that they don't even know about, and that you just have to have faith and reach out and do other things that are right and good in this world, especially when you have children. He was trying to help her with that, and he was also giving a message to the soldiers saying, I'd rather burn my money than spend it on whores and blow. So there was extortion going on, racketeering going on, where you give these soldiers $25,000 and then you turn the barracks into, you give them $5,000 at a time, and they can't really buy anything really big unless they save it. So they turn the barracks into illegal marketplace for illegal drugs, and much more, a haven for porn, and then they get depressed, and it's terrible. Then PTSD, then the suicides, mental health issues, and then more drugs and more alcohol, and then beatings of children and beatings of spouses and divorces, and all of the consequences that come from not having 44 four-star generals do their job. Love this country. Love the service members. There's 44 of them, only 7 during World War II. And we had over 13 million service members at the time, and 7 four-star billets could handle them. Could deliver a victory. V-Day. We have 44, and all they give us is rapes, depression, drug addicts, broken families, missing soldiers, slaughtered service members, training to suicide galore. Even a person involved in this case committed suicide. Yeah. And it wasn't Richard. Just to let you know that one. Even though he bought a rifle and he bought a pistol. He bought a pistol like 5 days before he went missing. We haven't recovered it yet. So, Hannah says, Mom, he was fearing for his life. Yep. We have names. And all of this, and you would think that a powerful institution that's involved in this case too, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, would want to help us, would want to be the light, because they have stakes. That's what they call their property and all of that stuff. They call them stakes. The stakes are all over in that area, all deep into Juarez, because that's where Mitt Romney's dad was born. That's there's big families there, and they have a lot of success and a lot of money then, and they go back and forth over that border because they have so much invested in that area, and you would think they would help us, because that institution is involved in this case. Whether they want it or not, it is. It is what it is. So the Mormons need to reach out. I've had a couple phone calls that I missed. I hope they call again. But they need to reach out. Because why is it that I don't understand this one? Novo Casas Grandes, which is a big Mormon stronghold. I mean, they have orchard. It's beautiful, y'all. It is lush. And And Colonial Juarez is lush. They have a big temple there. They have a beautiful school. Oh my gosh, every one of us would want to board our child there. I think live next door, I guess. I don't know. But it's beautiful. It's lush. It's gorgeous. And they have ranches and horse training. And we know that horses are involved in this. Horse trailers are involved in this. We know Farnsworth Racing is connected to this, which is a big group. They race horses there at Sunland Park, all in near Albuquerque, too. Down into Juarez. So you would think all of them would be rallying to help us. They're supposed to be, it would be such a great outreach for the Mormons. It would really give them some positive press if they were to help find the missing soldier. And they're pretty patriotic. They're all in the military, because even active duty members involved in this case are Mormons. Grew up in that area. I think Command Sergeant Major Jones grew up in that area. So he called it home. You think that he would call and participate in what he knew, what he knows. Yeah, this is so puzzling. It's puzzling. So if you know anything, call 941-677-0060. There is a $150,000 reward for information leading to finding Richard, credible information leading to finding Richard. And if you, if you'd like, please share, because it's getting this story out. You can cut parts of this, just getting Richard's flyer out is really important. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I wanted to see if there's anything here. I know it's so late. Yeah, there's some really good. There's a petition to reform the Inspector General at the DOD, which is really good. So please look for that. Petition to reform the DOD IG system. Yeah. We don't have to explain that. And the FBI, more information's coming out about the corruption at the FBI. We know about that. The FBI might be hiding my son's remains. I mean, that's a big possibility. Think about that. Wrap your head around that. That's just, it's too much. It's too much. So, okay, everyone. Thank you so much. And I will be back tomorrow.